All right, what's good, YouTube? This is Boxingwave, and we are back with another fight breakdown. So this is going to be my second breakdown of the Supercard this weekend, this Saturday. Again, if you didn't know, I will be here this Saturday. I'm going to cover the entire card. All right, so all day Saturday we will be here. It's 11 p.m. Oh, I'm sorry, 11 a.m. Eastern time on the Zone. Okay, and it's like a $29.99 pay-per-view, which is way well worth it. You know, I would pay whatever they charge on all of the cards, like $80. I would pay that and probably even more. I would have paid $100 if this card was $100. You know, it's just an excellent card. Before we continue though, just wanted to put it out there, and I'm gonna make a video about this. Shakur Stevenson against Floyd Schofield is off officially. All right, this is breaking news. I will definitely make a video talking about it, but I wanted to get this breakdown out of the way first. It's off for whatever reason. Floyd Schofield is ill. He's sick. We don't have any details on what he's sick from. We're literally days away from a big fight, and that fight is off. Shakur Stevenson is currently looking for a replacement opponent, so he's still going to fight Saturday, but we just don't know who right now, and I'm expecting it to be some sort of tune-up, being that it's last minute. I don't think a huge name is going to step in, but we'll see how that goes. All right, so I'll keep you guys updated when it comes to that. Hopefully we'll know real soon who the opponent is going to be for Shakur Stevenson. All right, very unfortunate, but it is what it is. We got to move on. It's still a phenomenal card, and I will be here Saturday to cover it all day. All right, now look, this fight here, it's going to be different. This breakdown is going to be different from the traditional breakdown that I normally do. Okay, we all really familiar with these two. All right, and these two are on a roll right now. These two are doing really well. They are coming off some big career heavyweight wins right now, and they both have a similar story because they both have taken losses, stoppage losses, and all of that. Things have been down for them for a little while, but these two are back, and they're coming off of good wins. This is going to be for the IBF championship fight that Daniel Dubois is defending. Joseph Parker is actually a former IBF champion. He was a champion when Joshua was champion and Deontay Wilder was champion back then. All right, but both of these guys have a lot of momentum. But I'm not going to be overly technical on this one. I want to just have a conversation and talk to you guys on, of course, how I see this fight going. But I want to talk a little bit more about the past opponents and how this is really just a pick'em fight. Because both of these guys are coming off good wins, but against fighters that have different styles, and it's really hard to determine how this fight is going to go based on what we've seen recently. They've both been impressive, but they both fought guys at a time and on styles, and they both had the advantages that worked out for them in those fights, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work out for them in this fight here. And I want to talk more and more about that, more so than just, what this guy does. Like, I'm going to bring these things up, but we got to talk about the recent opponents and the big wins, being that these guys have taken some major losses in the past, and they're coming off the momentum here, right? Let's start off with Joseph Parker. I mean, this is the challenger. Hell of an experience, It's Joseph Parker is one of those guys that you just can't hate. He's one of the most loved heavyweight boxers. He never did nothing corny. He's always been humble. He has a lot of respect for the sport. Showed us a lot of dedication. He has taken losses again, but he's come back and he's fought so many really good fighters. And so has Daniel Dubois in the short time that he's been boxing. This guy, Joseph Parker, has fought everyone from Takam to Andy Ruiz to Anthony Joshua to Dillian White when he was in his prime, to Joe Joyce, to Deontay Wilder, Zhilei Young. I mean, the guy, his resume and the names on he's one of the best in his generation. When it comes to resume, he is one of the best. I know we talk about AJ a lot. We talk about Usyk. We talk about Fury. And we even talk about Wilder. But Parker is in that conversation when it comes to resume because he's really been in there with everybody. You know what I mean? And except outside of Joe Joyce, no one really dominated him before. Joe Joyce was the only opponent that really beat him down, you know. I forgot Derek Chisora twice. That's another guy that he fought. So Joseph Parker has a shitload of experience, you know, and he's loved. I think everybody wants this guy to win. I mean, when I'm looking on social media and when I hear, you know, people's opinions on when I read comments, a lot of people want Parker to win because they like him, you know. And I want, listen, I always keep it fair. You know, I want Parker to win. But when it comes to giving breakdowns, I be completely neutral. A lot of times my money is on the line. And a lot of times I just want to be right for you guys because I know a lot of you guys are betting and I know a lot of you guys are hardcore fans of fighters. So I always keep it fair. But I want, as a fan, I want Parker to win because I've been following his career as a pro since the very beginning. You know, so I've been a fan of Parker. I actually liked Parker before I liked AJ, you know. So with that being said, a lot of experience, but we have to be honest. And it comes with both, it goes both ways. Parker had just come off 2 big wins against fighters that fight nothing like Daniel Dubois. And Daniel Dubois has certain tools that will work against him that didn't work against Parker because the last 2 opponents didn't apply them. And people they gotta realize that Daniel Dubois comes in with this jab, this monstrous jab that has always been extremely effective, except for when he fought Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce was the one guy that was able to tame and neutralize both of these guys. You know what I mean? Well, Usyk too, but Usyk did it in a different way. But when it comes to that fighter in common, obviously Daniel Dubois did a little better against Parker. Against Joyce. But at the end of the day, neither one of these fight like Joe Joyce. But with that being said, I've seen Parker struggle against fighters that had good jabs. He wasn't able to out jab Anthony Joshua, you know, who was dominated by Daniel Dubois with his jab. You know what I mean? We saw Joe Joyce and what he was able to do to Parker with his jab. You know what I mean? And even in even moments in Zhilei Zhang, who's a very, very low volume puncher, even his jab was very effective against Joseph Parker. Parker, who is very slippery, you know, he's very elusive, you know, he's a very good counter puncher. He fights really well on a back foot. I mean, I think he prefers a fight on his back foot. He's never been a great initiator. He is a trap setter. You know, that's what he does. So in this fight, I'm expecting that from him because that's what he always does. He likes to walk and draw guys into the traps. The only fight where he looked really impressive, being the initiator, was against Deontay Wilder because Wilder did not want to engage with him. Wilder was experimenting and trying to use this lateral movement style where he wasn't even fighting. It was just the weakest version of Deontay Wilder we've ever seen in his career. Because Wilder was trying to land one big short right hand counter. He was trying to draw Parker in, make him lunge, and counter him with the short right hand like he did with Robert Helenius. That worked in that fight. It didn't work against Joseph Parker, and that's why he was easily dominated, losing every round in that fight. Maybe I think I might have gave Wilder 1 round, if that. But again, huge win because Wilder was a former champion, gave Tyson Fury a trilogy, you know, knocked a lot of guys out and all of that stuff, but he looked terrible against Parker because I have no idea what was the game plan of that fight. And when the game plan wasn't working for 6-7 rounds, he continued to fight the same game plan. He just didn't make any adjustments. So it's a huge win for Parker, but he also worked for the worst version of Deontay Wilder. And then we go into the Zhilei Zhang fight, which was another great win, a phenomenal win, because Zhang, very durable, huge fighter, very good counter puncher, big left hand in that power, 1 punch knockout power, big right hand in his hook, very good counter puncher. It was a chess match between the two. The problem is with Zhang, he's one of the easiest fighters to outwork if you can go to rounds with him. If you don't get caught with a good shot, you can beat him on points because he's easy to outwork. You know what I mean? So when I look at the strengths and weaknesses of a Wilder or a Gilles Jung, those are not the weaknesses that Triple D, Daniel Dubois, is bringing to this fight here. Dubois has great cardio. He's durable, right? He's been stopped twice, but the fights that he was stopped in were in the later rounds. You have to apply punishment round after round after round for order to put him down. He's been hurt early against Kevin Lerena in the first round, where he was dropped like 2 or 3 times. I didn't even bother to go back to watch the fight, but I remember in the first round he got caught with a sweeping shot, one that grazed the temple, that just messed up his whole equilibrium. Just threw him off, and his legs was shaky for the remainder of the round. It was disastrous for him. But Lerena didn't come back with anything in the second round. Triple D recovered and got him out of there. But outside of that fight, there was no point where Triple D was in any real danger in any other fight. You know what I mean? Because he just came coming at you. You call him one-dimensional, jab right hand, you throw a hook sometimes, but you could call him whatever you want. But the one thing is, until you knock him out, he's going to keep coming. You have to outwork him and beat him for a tremendous around those later 9-10 rounds where Usyk and Joyce stopped him. The amount of punishment you will have to put on that guy to get him out of there, it's a lot. And Joseph Parker has to be prepared for that. So for him to go into this fight, I hope he's focused on speed. I hope he's not overly bulking up like he did against Joyce, because he needs to be quick. Okay, he needs to be able to counter quickly against Dubois. He needs to be well conditioned for this fight. He has to prepare to go 12 rounds with Daniel Dubois. He has to prepare for that. So a lot of people are talking about whether he's overlooking him and stuff because of these interviews, whether or not he's going to be heavier for this fight or not. I believe that Joseph Parker should come in this fight as light as he's been in recent fights, because he wants to have the speed advantage, because he's one of the quickest punchers out there outside of, Moses Atama, who's just newer in the division. Andy Ruiz always had fast hands, but Joseph Parker was always very elusive. You know what I mean? A very good counter punch and all that, but he had very fast hands, and he has to prepare to go those 12 rounds, because Daniel Dubois, until you get him out of there, Triple D is always coming forward, and he has a really, really powerful jab. He was only out jabbed by Joe Joyce, and Joyce, it was because Joyce, bigger guy, coming forward with that hammer-like jab, and he's also blocking Triple D's jab as he's throwing his. So he was able to counter Triple D's jab and take it away from him by throwing his jab, which was even a stronger jab coming forward. He's durable. At the time, he was durable. Not so much anymore. And he was able to beat him that way. Joseph Parker has never really been the better fighter when it came to the jabs. The jabs are there, to keep the distance type of thing, to set up the overhand right type of thing, but not really to go jab for jab with an opponent. That's not his style. He's not really a volume puncher. He's a counter puncher, a guy that's slippery, moves on the back foot, like I said earlier. So you got to understand, if you're picking Joseph Parker to win based off his last opponents, you got to understand that those guys are not Triple D. Triple D is very aggressive coming forward. Please listen to the rest of the video, because I know I'm talking for 14 minutes, but I still got to get to Triple D. I didn't even get to him in his style. Now, Triple D, another fighter who's coming off great wins, all right? He beat Gerald Miller, all right? Came off that win. Gerald Miller, volume puncher, big guy, heavy guy, not really in shape for that fight, not in the best shape. But it was just not enough, cardio was trash, and Triple D just beat him to the punch, Miller had a moment in those middle rounds, but couldn't capitalize, couldn't keep it going, and Triple D outworked him, outboxed him, beat him in the first half, beat in the first earlier rounds, beat him in the later rounds and stopped him late, because the guy was out of shape. He was burnt out. and the volume was low compared to what we normally see him in. So he was able to beat that guy. But we know when it comes to skills, Miller has never been a top tier skilled fighter. He's big, he's heavy, he's very easy to hit, and the cardio wasn't there. Again, he used to be on PEDs. He wasn't for this fight, and he just wasn't prepared for the fight. So not to take anything away from Triple D, I'm just saying that this is not a Parker fight. Going into Hrgovic fight, which I think was the best opponent of the best win for Triple D in the most recent fights, because Hrgovic connected for those amount of rounds. He just didn't miss. He threw the jab. He threw the right hand behind it continuously. He was able to just land the right cross over and over and over again. The problem is, a guy fought like a guy that was too confident. You know, didn't what round did he stop him? He stopped in the 8th round. He fought too confident. You know, he looked like he was surprised at the fact that Triple D just kept coming forward. Triple D was his headbutts. Let's be real. There was headbutts in the fight that played a part in it too. You know, Hrgovic got cut, and as many right crosses as he landed, it didn't have no effect on this guy. This guy just kept coming forward. And again, Triple D been stopped before, but he's been stopped late. You have to keep going round by round. Usyk, Joyce just kept it going. Hrgovic had a good game plan, but at the end of the day, he was doing the right thing, but the execution just wasn't enough. And mentally, he was broken. Everybody thought Triple D was going to be broken. I was even wrong in my pick. Everything that was happening was what I expected. But Filip Hrgovic, he just couldn't last. You know, and I just think that Triple D, him keep coming forward, him throwing his right hands, he was just a better fighter that night. Hrgovic was the better boxer, but Triple D was the better fighter overall, and he wanted it more. You know what I mean? Just his will to win was much greater. And then going into Anthony Joshua, who, in my opinion, and sometimes there's been so many changes throughout Joshua's career, and when he comes off these big wins sometime, it's like he forgets some of his fundamentals. He was just too easy to hit. His hands were down. You know, I think he was expecting to counter and to knock out Triple D. It didn't really work out that way. Triple D's jab was flawless last night. He was popping AJ's head back from the opening bell. And AJ circling, using, laterally with his hands down. His chin was there to be hit. It was targeted all night. There was no defense from AJ. AJ, who does not have the greatest chin at the heavyweight division, had to take everything from Daniel Dubois. And it was just not as bad as Wilder against Joseph Parker, but it was one of AJ's worst performance from a defensive standpoint, because AJ is capable more of that. It's like, even when I looked at AJ versus Parker, AJ would have his hands up, shoot the jab, and parry Parker's jab with his weak hand, his weak hand. He would parry and he would counter with right hands. We didn't see that from AJ. AJ had his hands low, the entire time. And, sometimes you just got to go into a high guard, especially when you're moving and trying to move out of danger. You got to keep your hands up, man. And the guy's hands was low, and he just got dropped in the first round. And he never really recovered from that. So when I look at these fights, when I look at when I look at AJ, when I look at, who's the other opponent? Hrgovic. When I look at, Gerald Miller. There are things here that I see Parker that he's not going to make the same mistakes as some of those guys. He could do things better than some of those guys in that fight. And that's why he has a chance to win this fight, because Parker is going to be moving. He's going to be moving, and he's going to be throwing these looping right hands that you're not going to see. You know what I mean? He can fight and move his upper body when he's against the ropes. He's a lot more elusive. He's always been a lot more elusive to AJ, even though he lost to AJ. He doesn't have the jab to go jab for Triple D. But if he's able to counter Triple D and make him think about stepping in with that jab, if he's able to catch him with some check left hooks, or catch him on the way in with some good counters and time him, he can make Triple D really think about just charging in at times, because Triple D is a very aggressive fighter. Again, he's having a lot of success now, and I know he's changed trainers, and I know he's doing well and stuff, but all he's done is improved at what he was doing before. It's not like he's made a crazy amount of adjustments in his style. He still fights the same. You know what I mean? It's just that he's more effective, and he's very durable. And again, the cardio is a huge advantage for Triple D, because when you step in and you're popping that jab continuously, and it's a power jab, and it hurts, that can be a problem for a guy like Joseph Parker. But Parker is going to have to find a way to neutralize him with his counters. And if he's able to hurt him, that would be a major, major win for Parker in the fight. I think he needs to prepare for 12 rounds. But if he's able to hurt Dubois along the way of that, he would be in a good advantage. And with his experience, he can probably get the finish if he can hurt Triple D. But Triple D lately has been so strong coming in. And this is why I have to pick him to win. Because even though Parker is doing well, he's coming off these wins and stuff, Triple D and his jab alone is going to be a major issue for Parker. And I know defensively, and he moves well, and he's going to get out of the way of some of these shots. But is he going to really get out of the way of that jab? The jab alone is going to be a problem with Parker all night, and even though he's elusive and stuff, he's not going to get out of the way. He's going to get touched a lot with that jab. So whether it goes a distance or whether Triple D is able to stop him at some point, I just think Triple D constantly coming forward. Yes, Parker is going to land some good shots. He's going to counter with some good shots. But if he's not able to hurt Triple D, I don't know how he stops him. You know what I mean? I don't know how he stops him from coming forward. And Parker defensively is not great. I know Triple D is not great defensively neither, because he doesn't move his head. But Triple D with those arm blocks, he's good at parrying shots and countering a little bit himself. He's an educated boxer. He's not highly technical. He's not highly skilled, but he's skilled enough to know how to deal and walk guys down that might be technically more advanced. You know what I mean? Because he's so aggressive. And when a fight turns into a fight and they really start trading, I favor Triple D in that kind of fight too, because he can fight for a longer period of time. And he just overall, to me, is more durable for a longer period of time, at least at this stage. Parker, he gets dropped in fights. He's been stopped once. He's a durable fighter too. But I would just give Triple D the slight edge. I was really, really impressed with the Filip Hrgovic win, because he took so many shots in that fight. And Parker, who is a puncher, but not a huge puncher, at the elite level, he hasn't really stopped anyone. And even in the Deontay Wilder fight, where he was so dominant and Wilder is not durable, I was still shocked at that fight that he wasn't able to at least drop Deontay Wilder. I got to go with Triple D on this one. As far as betting, I'm yet to decide what I'm going to pick on him on winning on points or by stoppage. I can see both options. This one I might save for a live bet if available. But I have Triple D winning again. It's not about who I like better. I like Parker. I hope he wins. I would love to see him win the fight. And possibly fight Usyk. It's a fight that we haven't seen. But even if Triple D wins and he were to rematch Usyk, which I'm not expecting him to do, but if he were to rematch, there's something there, because there's history there because of their first fight and the controversy with the knockdown, the low blow, and all of that. So I have Triple D winning. I have Triple D winning this fight. It's my prediction is he's going to win it. I can see how Parker wins. I do think it's a pick'em fight. I'm pretty close to saying that it's 50-50. I'm leaning more like 55-45, leaning towards Triple D. I think he is a slight favorite to win, and I think he should be a slight favorite to win because I think with those few big wins that they recently had, and they're both like kind of come back from the dead because they both had so many losses recently. But I still think that Triple D has looked more impressive in his recent wins against AJ and Philip Hergovich specifically than the Zhang and the Wilder win. I think his wins were more impressive. And I just think that jab is going to be a problem for Parker. I got to go with Triple D. All right, that's my breakdown. Please subscribe to the channel. Please, everybody, hit the thumbs up for me. If you like the content, I see you. I read the comments. You guys love the content. Hit the thumbs up for me, all right? I'll see you guys on the next breakdown. It's going to be Virgil Ortiz. I'm trying to go through the level of difficulty. I'm going to go with Virgil Ortiz and Match Wall for my next breakdown. Shakur Stevenson, Floyd Schofield is out, like I said. So I'm going to go with that next. So be on the lookout for that, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.